Thank you for joining XR which is India's first AR VR focused podcast. And today I'm delighted and honored to have with me Mr. Murali Reddy, who's a serial entrepreneur who has been part of companies such as Oracle, IBM, Yodlee, and is currently the co-founder at Bullieverse, who is working on building an open metaverse. So Murali, welcome to the show. Why don't we start with a brief introduction on who you are?
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks for having me here today. Pleasure to be talking to you. My name is Murali Reddy. So I'm co-founder of Bullieverse. Prior to Bullieverse, I was primarily into leadership roles in some product companies like IBM Labs and Oracle. I'm a Web3 citizen from quite some time, from about last 5 years. And being in the space, understanding space very well, and then being builder in this space, we could get the real potential of how NFTs and metaverse could transform the future of this overall Web3, and not just in a Web3 world and overall complete. That's how we see that meta rebranding also happened. This was way before meta rebranding. We were actually me and my partner Srini. We were associated with some of the vibrant NFT communities like Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we have been early members in that, and we have actually seen that how magic internet communities are built around this NFTs. Only thing we felt is that in the future of it, probably with only NFTs, which has got a very strong utilities, will survive, because most of the NFT communities you see are primarily be used for profile pic or to access some private Discord servers, and they have very limited usage. But NFTs actually provided us a way of verifiable proof of asset ownership, right? So we can actually utilize it for multiple things, and in that we came up with this concept of building an open metaverse, where NFT holders will be able to use their own NFT avatars as their own digital representation, and then come onto the use the metaverse, hang around with community, make new friends, play games, earn some rewards, and then some creators who will be able to create the content or games will be able to monetize of it, right? And then having a ownership of the whole metaverse in more of a decentralized open metaverse. That's what we came up with the concept of Bullieverse, and journey has been very fascinating so far.
I would like to kind of first, for my audience, get the haziness away, because there's so much haziness around Web3, what Web3 is and what NFT is, what Metaverse is, because, there's so many people, these influencers or leaders around the space, who have got their own explanation to Web3 or NFT or Metaverse. So before we get into what Bullieverse is, why don't we just take a step back and kind of make people understand what Web2, Web1, Web2 was? And what Web3 is and what it's going to be. So maybe we'll start with there, and then we'll get on to NFTs, Metaverse, and Bullieverse.
Web2 and Web3 difference is that Web2 is primarily, it's a ownership actually lies with a centralized system, right? So Web3 world, when I'm talking about mainly, is about ownership is decentralized, right? So ownership is not with one specific entity in that particular space who are very big and then will be able to control everything, right? So and here especially when I'm talking about Web3 citizen, actually means that whoever believes in decentralization, ownership not concentrated at one place, ownership is with the community, are Web3 citizens. That's what I believe in.
Thank you for explaining, Murali. But now tell me, how does this pan out? Or how does this even work? Because today there is not a single company, organization, nation, or a blockchain company which really is truly decentralized. In fact, there's Scott Galloway who says this whole conversation about decentralized is sort of a re-centralization process itself. Jack Dorsey says that the entire Web 3.0 metaverse will always be in the hands of the VCs who kind of run it and has always been running it. And now you talk about companies such as, the current companies today, and Amazon, it's a centralized company, your Roblox, your Facebook. How is this journey gonna pan out? I mean, is this gonna be something which is easily digestible for the businesses so far, which have worked at profit at any cost and extracting value from the users? How is this gonna pan out? Do you have like a idea or?
How I can put that is that, if you ask me, is that already there? Is that already ready? May not be. But the thing is, technology is ready. Yes, technology is ready. Infrastructure is not ready yet. So if you see any industry, that's how it works, right? First technology comes, then infrastructure will automatically be built for that, right? So now if you see, even here also, compared to one Facebook or one Twitter or one Amazon, though we are talking about some of the good metaverse, big metaverse companies or any Web3 companies, if you see, their ownership is lot decentralized compared to these companies, right? But it will eventually get better at that, because we already have a technology to support that. First of all, in Web3 world, there is no way that it can ever happen that this power will be decentralized, right? Here we have this, with this blockchain infrastructure, we already have a way to decentralize it. But the thing is, if you try to decentralize it right away, it gets little difficult because we have to understand all the pitfalls, all the everything, right? It has to be progressive way of decentralization, and the technology supports that. Just that infrastructure has to support it, which will take eventually some more time for that. But it is definitely going to happen.
Right. So I get that now. So you're saying it's going to be a progressive step to decentralization. We shouldn't expect anything at this point in time, because I guess we are changing the language of how we do business. So far, how we've been doing was extract the value out of consumers. Here, the language of Web 3.0 or the metaverse is that you are the core builder of the Web 3.0. You are the shareholder of the platform. And let me try to kind of like simplify this to the audience. I mean, from Web 2.0 of what we are using at this point in time, which is like a 2D platform, we are getting into the 3D world of sorts, and it's going to be a decentralized world where I, the creator, play a role. So it is in the benefit of the creator and the consumer. So it sounds weird, but yes, I'm excited for the world, and I hope we get into that world pretty much soon. What is the metaverse? What is going to be the role of blockchain and NFT in the metaverse?
Okay, so generally also, whenever any new technology comes up, right, a lot of industries tries to force fit in it in order to show their presence in that particular world of it. Slowly they'll understand that it's not for them, and then they'll raise away, and then some businesses will stay, and then that will be real applications will come for this, right? Metaverse is not just like that, having a VR headset or something and then just going and inside, right? It is that what you rightly mentioned about transforming a 2D version into a 3D version, right? For example, if you are shopping, right? If you have a list of things which you wanted to pick in the e-commerce world, right? There is nothing that it is directing you. It is just that you filter out and then see what you wanted to buy, you'll buy it. But if you go to a mall, example, right? If you go to a mall and then you are just seeing around the shops, and then something will attract you there, and then you go into the shop, and then some of the things nicely showcased there will attract you, buy it. Most of these things are impulse buying, if you see. It's not a planned thing, right? So that problem is not solved in the e-commerce world, where only website is there where you do this, right? Metaverse will solve that. Metaverse is more like a 3D world where you actually go present yourselves there and then interact with the things there, right? You'll have interaction with the things around you. That is not happening in the regular e-commerce world or these things, right? That much difference is there between a 2D picture, a 3D picture. How much difference you have? That much of difference is there between the actual way of commerce now and then actual way of commerce, which this metaverse will actually enable us. And main thing is what actually happened is that with the COVID, a lot of businesses changed, a lot of thinking pattern changed, and people going and sitting in an actual place, live place, has actually changed. Now most of things became work from home and virtual. Now a lot of meetings are there, all these things, right? Every of these thing will have a better use case in the metaverse, means in the 3D world. It is almost mimicking to the actual world now. Now with the too much of disconnection everywhere for us, right? This will help us in trying to be more connected to people than what is there currently. That is exactly, so you see Facebook is trying to do something on this area, because having a simple website, trying to connect with people, you will not have that emotional connect more. It is more of a just a regular way of doing it. But if you actually meet that same friend somewhere outside, that will have a emotional connect, right? That is what metaverse is going to get it. This could be applied for any businesses to say, where you need that emotional that connect between people. That this could be for a movie industry, streaming, sports, and definitely gaming, which is definitely a big industry here, and then community gatherings, events, parties, all these things. This metaverse is going to play a very huge role in the coming years.
Right, yeah, there's going to be a huge opportunity which is going to open up. You rightfully pointed out, I think the COVID has completely been a game changer. It's obviously created huge disruption, but then the impact, the positive impact that it's made is that it has kind of accelerated or pushed us into the future. I mean, now we kind of understand the benefits of work from home, remote healthcare, remote education, remote training, and so on and so forth. And I think you made a very important point on how we make purchases. It's always been impulse buying, but I guess with the metaverse, you will have the opportunity to, you rightfully pointed out, interact with those objects, kind of place it into your home, try a product virtually before actually buying. And that's such a huge problem. I think the e-com industry will be able to solve in the coming years with the metaverse and XR. What are your views on the metaverse industry, specifically the ecosystem startups here in India?
I mean, definitely there is a lot of awareness now, lot of talent in India. I mean, there is no dearth of talent, right? Especially understanding capabilities for us is very high, and we actually Indians get this technology related things. We are actually always ahead of lot of large part of the world. I'm sure there will be like a very huge. I mean, I'm actually working with a couple of companies whom I'm advising on some of the related to metaverse areas, and I see a bright future. But only thing is, for all these things to come to place properly, to have all, as I was telling before, to have the infrastructure ready for it, to technology is ready, to have that infrastructure ready for it, right? It might take a couple of years from now, but you will hear most of the companies coming into this world. Unlike a decentralized, I mean, like a DeFi, right? Decentralized finance, which is fluctuating a lot with different market conditions. But this metaverse is going to have a very steady growth in the coming years, is what I strongly believe.
Right. Yeah, there's some very interesting startups here in India who trying to take the conversation of metaverse and kind of build a use case which is really relevant and contextual to the market. Yes, there are a few force fits and those real applications are not being seen, but I hope that kind of changes once this market kind of matures. Bullieverse.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the vision? What makes you guys unique? And what was the reason of setting up Bullieverse?
Yeah, as I was giving a brief before about NFTs, right? NFTs as a technology is very, very powerful technology, which has got multiple use cases. In that, one of the use case, most of the current industry is with using art as it, right? And then owning something. So that is how this Bored Ape Yacht Club or the crypto punks have started the industry with. and people started owning them and feeling themselves as that particular avatar, and then that's how its demand went up and its price went up, right? But the thing is, everybody understands that that only can sustain its growth for certain level, and then in order to when it has real utility, then only it will go big from there, right? So that is when I mean, we have been thinking about these things. I'm sure that we were actually very pretty sure that at certain stage this is going to vanish. A lot of new collections, new avatars going to come up. That hype around it is going to go away. But the only projects which has got real utility means what, right? These NFTs, a lot of people hold themselves thinking that it is themselves. That's how they use in Twitter profile, Facebook profile, Instagram profile, and say that it's me, right? When it is me, with that me, if I go into a 3D world, metaverse world, and then I'll be able to communicate with people there, and then try to interact with the different things there around, and then try to play games with that. It actually means that bringing NFTs to life, right? That is what we are doing in with Bullieverse. We are actually building. We are not trying to go over masses, that too many characters, too many things. It is that you have an emotional connect with your avatar. With that avatar, you'll be able to enter in as your own 3D representation into the metaverse world, and then do all the things whatever you would like to do there with respect to community. I mean, with respect to meeting other new friends, attending any community gatherings, or even playing games there, earning rewards, play to earn. It's a very big concept now. So do all those interactions there, right? So that is how we started with that concept, and then we launched our first NFT collection, Bull NFTs collection. Bull, it's more of a positive sentiment in the market. People would like to relate themselves with Bull, right? So it's more of a positive sentiment mainly. And then we started, and then we raised about 2 mil from there, from our initial collection, and then started building our first 3D game, NFT based game, in order to give a taste of our world and Unreal Engine experience for people, how rich and then closer to real life experience will be there, that world. And then now currently we are working on our metaverse, overall Bullieverse idea, where people will be able to go inside and then do multiple stuff, what I was telling before. Jump onto the game portals and then play the games and come back, earn rewards and come back, and then earn NFTs also as rewards, and then carry those NFTs rewards to other games also, which is not happening in the currently the Web2 world now. If you see some of the big large games currently, if you are out of it, you don't own it. You don't own any of those in-game assets, right? But here you can actually own those in-game assets, and you'll be able to carry it to other games. We are actually building a complete integrated experience.
Murali, I want you to unpack this, because I think you said a whole lot of stuff. I think you said that you want to start with an NFT marketplace. Then now you're saying that you will also have a metaverse, okay, which will, you also said that there's a game that you have built. Your website says that you guys are also building a game engine. Elaborate, unpack all of this, please.
Primary vision is about bringing NFTs to life as training, right?
Yeah.
With one thing is that we have a Bullieverse is the metaverse world, where you can actually enter into the world with your own NFT, NFT as a 3D digital representation of it, digital representation of yourselves. Enter inside, and then you'll actually have something. I mean, you'll actually be able to own a piece of land there, build your own things, whatever you wanted to build. That is where creation engine also comes into the role, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then you have something called as game portals, where you'll be able to jump into the game portal, and each game portal will host a game as such, right? And then you'll be able to jump into the game portal, play that particular game, and then come back into the metaverse again, and then do other aspects. Maybe you have a some event or gathering, you will be able to attend that particular gathering in some specific coordinates of it, right? So that's what you can do in this world. You can do basic things like you can attend events, make friends, and all these, and then have a piece of land, build your own things, whatever you wanted to build. Along with that, you'll be able to play games, engage yourselves, and earn some rewards. Could be tokens or could be NFTs, right? This is a complete seamless integrated experience is what we are building. In that, initially we are building our own games by our team. So these portals, game portals, whatever will be there in the metaverse world, will have our own games which are being built. And our first game is Bear Hunt game. Bear Hunt game is our first game, which is currently live now, and we are launching a complete version of it by in another couple of weeks from now. That is one game where you can actually win the NFT as a rewards, and then also tokens also based on some competitions, and a lot of engaging aspects we are doing there. And the next one we are working on is a multiplayer game. It's more of a battle royale style multiplayer game where it will be hosted in one more game portal. Okay, like that, this will be hosted. But this is currently being built by us, right? There is no creator economy here. Means creator is not there, right? But parallelly, we are actually working on a creation engine also, where any NFT communities or any independent developers or game studios will be able to come and then put a gameplay together quickly and then host it in our game portals, so that whatever revenue comes out of there by the in-game assets purchases or entry fees or any sort of such things, that will be shared between most of the part. 95% goes to the creator, 5% comes to our DAO. DAO means our community owned DAO, right? So
Lovely.
that is the overall concept.
Lovely. How cool is that? So you are not just hitting one specific part of the metaverse, you looking at every little aspect of it, right from the NFT marketplace to building your own games to having leveraging the opportunity of having events or gathering over there. You said you've already built your first game, which is the Bear Hunt game. Bear Hunt game, and eventually there's going to be other games that you guys will be introducing, but eventually the far out plan is to give the reins of it to the creator, where the creator will be able to build their own games, monetize, and possibly you have play to earn games over there also. Tell me, what's the current challenge at this point in time? How many users can be online concurrently, and what is the revenue model over here?
Our first game is single player objective based game, which we built in very record time, very short amount of time. This is mainly to introduce our community to a rich experience. Till now, most of the games currently are there in Web3 world are primarily pixelated, voxel based, more of a Minecraft type of environments, which appeals to younger audience. But we wanted to appeal to audience who likes games like Fortnite, PUBG type of games, who are a little bit closer to realistic experience kind of, right? That is the exact reason why we built our first game as a single player game, which can be launched quick. But we wanted to introduce at the same time, to play to earn economics, all these things with a rich experience of it. That is the first step. Second step, whatever we will be launching our multiplayer game will have will be more of a battle royal style, and then concurrently we are not looking at thousands of users initially, because that scaling is very high, very difficult initially. But we are looking at sub hundreds initially, sub 100 at one point of time to be able to play the game reflected. So overall, in our case, right, in Axie Infinity or some other play to earn games currently, there is a concept of breeding and multiple characters coming. You play with some specific characters, right? But our overall positioning is completely different. We are talking that you yourselves playing there actually means that you have your own avatar, which you bought, Bull NFT or one NFT, which you feel that it's your own avatar. You go with that avatar and then play, right? So here we are not looking at a mass. We are looking at people who has got a very strong emotional connect with their own NFTs, and then with that they'll be able to come and then play. That could be games, or that could be interacting with other people, or whatever, right? So that is where we are looking at. And some more details regarding our metaverse scalability with currently, and how many concurrent users. I'm talking about metaverse aspect as such, because previously when I was touching about multiplayer game, right, that is separate, that is in the one of the game portal here. But actual metaverse as such, entering into that, and then we'll be able to see all the game portals. Maybe probably you might shop there, you might actually attend events there, all those kind of stuff, and build your own houses or something. When you hold your own land, which land sale will probably happen in another couple of months. But I'm so all these aspects to do that multiplayer, that also is a part of game only. That multiplayer aspect will release more details about it, how many players can be there at one shot, all those kind of stuff. But initially it can be in thousands for sure, because scalability will get very tough. It'll be in sub hundreds.
Would you like to talk a little bit more about the revenue model? I think with that would be nice.
One of the very important revenue is that if you have seen that in-game asset sale itself is a huge thing. So
Right.
last year, it was about close to $70 billion, and then it is expected to grow much more higher in the next 5 years. It's a huge market asset, because I buy a lot of assets for my son because he plays Roblox a lot, and then he often uses my card. So I know how much kids are spending on it, right? So that is one of the important market. Along with that, we are looking at affiliate commissions from brands whom we onboard. When there's a purchase happens from the metaverse, we are looking at affiliate commission there. And then we are looking at ad revenues. We have actually recently partnered with a company called as AdMix, who has got connects with the multiple top brands in the world, where they'll have advertisements in the metaverse. Maybe we'll have a billboard there, and then we'll have advertisements there. Yeah, and then when we are actually having a tie-up, a partnership with some of the NFT communities, which we'll be announcing very soon. Their merch and their merchandise and a lot of other aspects, whatever they have there, all those purchases will have some small share goes to our DAO.
Right. So
that is what will be useful for building our platform and furthering its growth.
I've spoken to quite a lot of startups over here, but I think you guys are doing something extremely broad. You're not touching a few things. You guys are touching a couple of things. Talk to us about your team, because how are you guys pulling off this? Because this is not one specific thing. You guys are reinventing the wheel in ways, because I mean the others are leveraging a creator engine. You are saying you guys are gonna go and build your own creator engine. So this is like completely reinventing the wheel. So talk to us about the team, who does what, and how challenging has it been to build the entire platform, the back end and front end, and how resource draining or expensive has it's been, because even hosting this I think goes a few lakhs, right? So talk to us, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who might be listening and would want to understand what are the pitfalls and what are the no-goes, for if they want to build a metaverse platform.
Founders having a passion and then believing in the vision, all those things strongly, that has to happen, right? But all the team believing in it is something really awesome to say. That is how our team is. We have about 28 members team currently working with us from a different skill sets, like me and my partner Srini is based out of London. We have a very good working relationship with both of us from last 4 or 5 years, working on multiple things, and we had a previous startup, and we have very good strong relationship with respect to working from quite some time and understanding Web3 world very well. And we have our chief growth officer, who's Arun, who is taking care of growth partnerships area. He comes from a very rich venture capitalist and growth background. He has deployed some funds and sits in multiple companies' boards, and a very successful guy from that world. And then we have our Sanjit, who is the head of our game engineering, and then who is also based out of all these three folks based out of UK. So Sanjit comes from a very rich AAA game studios working background, and then working on VR, AR experience, and he is one of the initial guys who developed Microsoft Ungrounded game, and comes from a very rich gaming background. He leads our game engineering team, and most of the creative team sits in India. Folks are from IIT Guwahati. So we have built a very niche team in some specific areas, depending on the skill set from the regions, also all those things. And most of our blockchain team sits in UK and growth, and Srini sits there, who is our CEO. And then I am here in Bangalore, and then I take care of team completely here, take care of all the operations of it here. It's like a blend of team. Level designers, there are very good, very sharp level designers, game developer, Unreal Engine game developers, lighting experts, game designers, and 3D modelers, riggers, animators. So our team composition is this actually, and the UX developers and the full stack React guys. So and the head of quality area. So that's how we are structured mainly. Issue where it comes to say about some pitfalls, right? Main thing is scalability aspects is one of the important thing. That's the reason we didn't wanted to take too much of time to build something very huge at initially itself. We are taking a step-by-step approach. We have a very strong vision of what we wanted to build. In that, we are taking it bit by bit. That initial bit is having a very strong community of our own NFT holders. NFT holders, if you see, they have a loyalty actually. If I hold one NFT, I feel that it is mine and this community is mine. That strong bonding is what NFTs brings in actually. So we are very fortunate to build such a very strong initial holders community of 2,500, 3,000 people initially. And then now we have a very huge communities, Discord community and Twitter community. And then from there, we started taking step-by-step approach. But a lot of entrepreneurs, the only issue what we find is that they'll try to bite everything, right? It's very difficult actually. Take a piece by piece, try to execute it, show to community that you can deliver, move on to next. So that is how we planned our overall vision. If you see our Bullieverse vision, metaverse, building metaverse, doing land sales, plus launching our second game. This itself is about next 12 to 18 months of overall roadmap. We have set it in a part by part, and then team is working on it. And then we are working with multiple other agencies also in some specific areas where we need help with. We have not taken everybody on board, right? So we need to work in some SaaS model also sometimes, right? We are working like that. That's how we were able to, we are in a good position compared to a lot of other companies.
Lovely. Wish you and your team the very best. Yes, I think you rightfully pointed out, you need a great team, and a great team that believes in the vision, because that's the only way they will work towards the vision and make that vision a reality.
I know this is not an inspiring thing, but would you believe that I am taking my first holiday after 8 months of time? Including weekends, all the weekends, every day put together. This is the first holiday. Weekend is not a holiday, by the way. Okay. It's not that we have to do, everybody has to do that, but we never pushed anybody. In our team, they believe in what we are doing, and then it's like it comes naturally, right? When you actually believe in something, when you are working towards your passion, latest technologies, you are learning something and also getting compensated well for that. And then believe that you have a very huge long roadmap and you are in the right place of it. To say we are in a metaverse, overall this concept is like just starting. It is going to be huge thing in the coming years, right? When people believe like that, and especially probably little bit credit me and my partner Srini will take for that, because we were able to convey all these things to our team members, and then we got them on board, right? So yeah.
So thank you for sharing those insights, because I guess those entrepreneurs who are listening, they'll understand that, when you're passionate about work and when you're so engrossed with work, you just enjoy the space because you are with a vision of building something, and you've managed to put together something really cool, and I'm really looking forward for how Bullieverse is going to shape up. You have received around 4 million in seed funding. Would you like to talk about the journey of raising the fund? And maybe while you are talking about the journey of raising the fund, also talk about your tokens, the Bull and Shell tokens, and what are their utilities.
Okay. So, to touch upon the funding aspect, right? So, we had funding with NFTs. We already sold our NFTs and raised a couple of million from there. Funding as such, I mean, next round of funding as such is not for money aspect alone, mainly with respect to getting a wider community visibility. That is what we mainly went for. Second round of funding. Second round, I mean, actual token funding. So token funding has been led by OKX Blockchain Ventures, which is one of the very reputed Web3 ventures, and then we have Fundamental Labs and LD Capital and multiple other very strong Web3 investors who have supported us, and we are definitely very fortunate to have such a strong backing for us in terms of investors. And then we currently Bull token is tradable on one of the best top 5 exchanges in the world, like KuCoin and Huobi. And we honestly have received a support from all the community. I mean, like from all the areas to say. Probably our vision is strong. Probably we conveyed it very well. Could be all of it, right? So somehow we got a very strong support from all these backers actually. So that is one aspect of it. Main thing is with respect to Bull and Shell utility. Bull is a governance token, which is used for overall governance proposals. It's a DAO, right? So governance proposals to control the complete Bullieverse ecosystem. So that is what Bull token plays a very strong role there, which is actually backed by DAO revenues and whatever. I mean, to say, I'm really proud to say that we are the first or rather probably last NFT project where we have allocated all the creator fees, I mean, whatever we got royalty fees to the DAO.
Right.
We have not, it has not come to us at all, right? As a personal level, we have given all to the DAO, we kept in DAO, which is useful for the project development mainly, right? So that is what the Bull token plays a very strong role there. In utilities wise, if you see, later whoever brands wants to onboard onto our metaverse, or any NFT communities who wants to partner with. So for all these partnerships, Bull will play a very, very important role there as such. So that is one thing. And then coming to Shell, all the in-game related transactions, everything will happen via in-game currency called as Shell. We have not introduced our Shell yet. We are not going to raise funds with that. Shell token is mainly an emission token. It gets emitted when people play as a play to earn rewards. For all those aspects, Shell token will be used in order to purchase any in-game assets or weapons upgrade or anything of that sort. So for all those aspects, Shell will be used. Shell will be introducing along with our multiplayer game. Probably it might take about 3 to 4 months time from now. That is when we'll be introducing Shell.
Would you like to explain what DAOs, decentralized autonomous organization, are, and what's the governance model at this point in time, and eventually what's planned out?
So at this point of time, as we were looking at progressive decentralization, it's all about whoever holds Bull tokens, right? They'll be able to control overall this DAO treasury. What we are talking about mainly, which is primarily used for developing the project, developing the overall ecosystem of the project, all these things together. We have allocated some good percentage of tokens for DAO treasury, plus DAO treasury will get bigger with the land sale, with any other future upcoming collections, and any of the in-game purchases where there is a small cut for DAO. All these things will be accrued in the DAO treasury. This treasury will be controlled by Bull token holders. So any of the big proposals, whatever we'll be making, will go through this governance process where bull token holders will be able to vote, and then in a favor to that particular proposal, that proposal will pass, and then money, I mean, like whatever treasury, part of that treasury can be spent on some specific aspects of it. So that is how we are looking at a complete governance aspects as such. Yeah. And then all the in-game assets, whatever I was telling, any of the sales, future sales happens in the metaverse, especially the next biggest sale would be a land sale. All these revenues out of the land sales proceeds will actually get accrued to DAO.
Right. Interesting.
And as a Bullieverse Inc. as a company itself will be as a creator for some of these games and some of the aspects, right? So that is where that creator cut will come to this company.
Are there any advice or suggestions for companies, brands who are keen to leverage the opportunity of NFTs and metaverse?
Advice wise, I don't know if I can really advise anybody, because people are already studying a lot and understanding the space very well, and be able to do some POCs around it and come into the market, right? So one thing is that whenever you have some very strong vision on something, see that what you can do in the immediate future and what you can do little later, right? So structure all those things accordingly. What happens is, a lot of times we tend to be too much futuristic, which we will be little irrelevant to the current point of time. For example, take in DeFi case itself in the public sector or anything in India, right? First of all, complete digitalization itself has not happened everywhere, right? So there is a lot of gaps still. How do you achieve that completely? So like that in a metaverse world also, though technology is ready in all aspects, infrastructure is not ready completely yet in many aspects, right? So there could be most of the e-commerce buying can happen in metaverse only soon, right? That how soon it is, we are not very sure about it. It has to have a lot of support here. For example, to load a very heavy game, we need to have a very high configuration laptop, right? How many people really have such laptops? And then can you do everything in the mobile? Does Unreal Engine or Unity support every very smooth interface with the mobile, right? So there are a lot of such aspects to it. So just break down your tasks, that what you can really achieve in a very near future, especially in Web3 world. 3 months here is like in Web2 world 2-3 years, right? Such a fast movement will be there here. Plan your stages of your project in such a way, break down, and then show those achievements to the VCs or investors whom you are looking at, and then to your community mainly, who trust in you, and then move next, right? That is what is my suggestion. Don't be too futuristic. Simple.
Lovely. Yeah, keep it simple. That's so really right and bang on target. Murali, I get these questions from my listeners all the time. I mean, how do they make money? Because that's the common thing. How does people in general will be able to, creators in general will be able to start making money on the metaverse, the NFTs, and please share your future roadmap.
Initially, we are working on a creation engine which enables people will be able to put a gameplay together quickly, or to say some other things to build quickly, right? So there is a lot of market for in-game assets mainly. If there are some creators who can create some in-game assets quickly, and then there are some creators who will be able to build games quickly, who understand a little bit about Unreal Engine, and then build games quickly, we'll be able to, and then we'll give up support for Web3 integration aspects. Web3 integration, I mean mainly to plug in the NFTs, all these aspects of it. With these things, they'll be able to publish their game in our game portals, or rather publish their in-game assets. For example, there is a new shoe made, right? It's an in-game asset, right, which can be utilized by any NFTs who are coming on to playing our games, right? And if anybody buys that particular shoe, 95% goes to the creator, 5% goes to the DAO, right? That is as simple as that, right? So we are this is where we are primarily looking at more help, more hands to join us in building a true metaverse, Bullieverse. With our team of 30 members, we can only achieve something, right? If there are a lot more developers, creators comes onto our platform, we'll be able to build something that actually makes overall ecosystem much flourishing with respect to content, new content, right? That is where we are looking at. Even we are actually working very aggressively on some of our timelines with respect to creation engine. We are positively looking at first quarter of next year to be launched. We'll be launching it, but meanwhile we can probably figure out some ways to integrate a little bit more in a manual way, need not be too dynamic way, but we always welcome creators who can build some Unreal Engine games and who can build some models or assets, right? This once it is in our market, trading in our marketplace, and then games going into our game portals, that actually creates good revenue opportunities for creators. Same times, yeah, step by step. We don't want to make people to wait till our creation engine comes, which has got maybe another 1 more year time, right? So meanwhile, we can work collaboratively.
Lovely. Murali, thank you for taking time and being part of the podcast, sharing your insight, your journey as an entrepreneur. I must say, I've had conversations with a few people who are building the metaverse. You are doing something exceptional. I mean, once it really comes out, I mean, we'll get to know the entire roadmap. Wish you and the team the very best. And yes, I think it's super exciting time for creators, because finally you said that at least through your platform, because I mean, even a brand such as Apple charges 30%, for, just deploying a game if you're a content creator. Here you're saying, as a content creator, 95% of the revenue goes to the creator and 5% goes to the DAO. That is fantastic news, and I hope that there's more companies who are, instead of just talking about decentralization, I think, work towards it in a way which is real. So we wish you the very best. Really appreciate you taking time being part of the podcast. And to my listeners, if you like what you see in here, then please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate this.
Thanks, Eddie. Nice talking to you.